Why is this the wrong move in your view, and what should the president be doing instead?
Well, a tariff is nothing more than a tax, right? And so at 5%, that's $17 billion in additional taxes on American consumers and businesses. That won't do anything to keep someone from crossing the border, coming up from Central America into Mexico and crossing. There are a lot of things we should do. There are real problems at the southern border, but it's really hard to draw a connection between a tax on consumers and businesses here in America and solving that problem.
So what are the things that the chamber is looking at doing, including legal channels?
We're looking at all of our options. Like everyone else, we learned about this last night when it was announced from the White House.
Is that odd, by the way, that you would just learn last night about this?
There's a lot of things that are odd about this announcement and about this approach, and that's certainly one of them. Normally, an economic move of this magnitude, you would have a lot of input from stakeholders, not just the U.S. Chamber, but labor and others who would want to weigh in, automakers, as you just heard about, who certainly have an interest in this. So it's a bit odd to learn about it at the last minute like we did.
So the channels that you're considering, tell us about that.
So we're looking at all of our options. First and foremost, we'd like to convince the administration that this is the wrong approach, and we're sharing with them the economic data of the potential impacts, some of the same statistics that your correspondents were just talking about. We're also looking at our legal options. This is different than the taxes that the administration has used earlier in this president's administration. It doesn't rely on the same legal authorities. It's kind of a novel use. So our lawyers are looking into that and figuring out what the legal standing is for something like this. But we're also talking to lawmakers. Senator Grassley, powerful member of the Senate who has a lot to say on tariffs and trade issues, but also on immigration, has said that this is the wrong approach. Congress could step in here as well. And so we're leaving no stone unturned as we try to think through ways to make sure that these tariffs, these taxes on American families don't go into effect.
And that's what we're seeing is this bipartisan outcry, including from Republicans who you were talking to. One of the reasons they're concerned is about how this is going to affect the renegotiation of NAFTA. What is your concern there?
Well, it's a huge concern, right? So to the president's credit, he took an agreement that was done before the age of the internet, and he negotiated a deal with Canada and Mexico to modernize it. It's the White House's #1 legislative priority. At the U.S. Chamber, it's our top legislative priority as well, because it cements that economic relationship between Canada, Mexico, and the United States. It's very difficult to see how imposing unilateral tariffs will help you pass that agreement in Congress. There's lots of opposition. Plus, it undermines the very relationship that we've been building up with Canada and Mexico on these economic issues. So this is definitely a roadblock to securing passage of USMCA, which would be a good thing for the economy and for American families.